Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Mechabellum video about the balance patch that just dropped today, which does change quite a lot. Before we go in though, one quick shout out to the first SDL Mechabellum tournament happening on the 10th of June. Everybody above 1500 combat power is allowed to sign up. We have above $150 of prize pool. This will for sure increase as we have some free ways to add monies for viewers as well. So yeah, if you want to have some chance for playing some Mechabellum in a competitive environment, come and join us on the 10th of June. And yeah, all information down below in the description. Let's go into the balance patch though, as yeah, this is exciting. And the devs go on that, yeah, they are listening to feedback, they're adjusting based on their data, and more of these balanced decisions and so on will come around, and they have more information in their development log about why these changes happened, and there is quite a lot of them, and there are quite some really impactful ones. So let's start on the top, where we go out, but we are here for the multiplayer, and there we go and start with the Overlord, which starts pretty cool, as it starts with increased hit points by 3%. So that makes it generally better. And then we go into nerfing specific Overlord builds, as 4 of its abilities get nerfed. Overlord artillery goes from 250 to 300 points. So that it is not as easy to build these early overlords that just nuke all the sledgehammers, all the enemy units on the ground, and then level up insanely quickly. Jump drive goes from 150 to 200. This is a bit of a surprise. This already went up to 150 a couple of patches ago, and I haven't seen it at all since then. So seeing it go up once more to 200, I'm not sure about that one, but we will see if it will still be played. Photon emission goes from 300 to 350, which is also really, really expensive. 350 is the top end of upgrades as a base cost. And photon emission already got nerfed in its time, but yeah, we still see a lot of these, so this makes sense. And then we nerfed the most common of the abilities for the mothership. The production interval of the mothership ability goes from 26 to all 28 seconds, so it doesn't spawn as many wasps as quickly anymore, which is a good change as well. You still get the first wasp wave at the beginning when they spawn, so that is still unchanged. It just the follow-up cycles there got nerfed. So base Overlord got more hit points, which means that other builds of the Overlord might be more interesting. For example, a healing build. For example, a build with the armor and healing against Mustangs, or one with quickfire or so on. Like, Overlord still could be absolutely viable. It just might not be with these abilities as much anymore. Vulcan, next unit here. Hit point increased by 3%, increased attack by 5%. So just a flat out buff to the Vulcan, and quite a hefty one. Increased attack by 5% means that it will deal also solid damage against some mid hit point units, like even like sledgehammers and so on, will suffer under this a good bit. So Vulcan here, quite a bit more powerful. 3% hit points is also giving it a couple of seconds extra against mid damage units. Obviously, against something like a melting point or some high level marksmen and phoenixes, this won't matter. But against if the enemy doesn't have too many of those around, the 3% hit points here will matter for sure. And we continue with buffing hit points on the giant units, as the melting point goes up by 3% as well. So more baseline buffs here to giant units, which is interesting to see, as we already see a lot of giant units. And I guess the hit point increases on these will mean that we will need to use more melting points, and we will need to use more steel balls against them a bit, or really stack up our phoenixes and marksmen to really deal with them. Yeah, melting point 3% increase, base range from 110 to 115. That's quite good as well, allowing, because before lower level melting point often lost against a higher level fortress or so, if its frontline died, because in the firefight, like, the fortress got in range before too quickly, and then The melting point didn't have enough time to load up. With 5 more range, that might change a bit. And we will see how it plays, but that sounds like really solid buffs to the melting point as well. And then energy derivation range reduction adjusted from 25 to 30. So if you use the 5 beam thing, it will still go down to the range it went down before. This is just adjusting so that it goes with the range increase here. If you use this ability, it will have the same range as before, as it will be reduced by 30 instead of 25. And then we come to a unit that got hit heavily once more in a specific build as well here. A Rhino. Rhino's nuke builds are basically unaffordable now, in my eyes. Like, they already got hit before with Rhino having less hit points and so on. But now, photon coating costs 50 more. The nuke, the final blitz ability, costs 50 more. And power armor costs 50 more as well. So, it costs 150 more to build this. And I'm not sure if that... I feel like that makes the build, at least in its current loadout with all these 3 abilities, not affordable really. Also, we see Rhino's attack intervals adjusted from 0.7 to 1 second, which I believe is a reduction in attack speed, but the damage per hit is increased to 3,297. I'm not sure where it was before. So it hits harder per hit, but fewer times, which is weird to me. Because the Rhino, in my eyes, is supposed to be an anti-mass unit and not a hard-hitting unit, because you have other units for that in the game already. So reducing its attack speed and increasing its attack damage is a weird choice to me. But I kind of get the other ones. As nuke Rhinos were still pretty prevalent, I feel like there maybe should have been another idea to it though. And I haven't lost to nuke Rhinos lately, so not sure if the triple nerf was needed here. Especially power armor, I feel like is a bit overdone, as the ability itself is not that strong. And maybe some other solutions need to be found here. Fortress, hit point increase by 3%. So yeah, all the giants get that 3% increase. And then one of the fortress cards also has been changed. And the one where you get improved fortresses, where you pay 100 extra, it now increases the hit points by 50%, attack by 30, and movement speed by 3. So yeah, the increase of hit points by 50 is massive, making your fortresses insanely tanky. And yeah, those fortresses will be a lot of beef now. And the hit point increase by 3 also matters the most here, because it's the biggest hit point percent, as it's all percentage based, and the fortresses base hit points are the biggest. This is the biggest increase of all the giants as well, so these guys will be really, really tanky, and medium units might really struggle to take them down now. Next unit that gets changed is the Steel Ball. Attack increase by 10%. So that is quite interesting as well. As that means it might stack faster. I'm not quite sure how that goes, but yeah. Increased by 10% there. I wonder if that means that it stacks a lot faster and deals a lot of damage more over time, or if it's just really that 10% throughout, which still would be good though. 10% is a big number in a strategy game. So that is cool. And then it got some new technology as well. Heavy target. Decreases range by 10. When switching target, lock-on priority is given to the unit with the highest hit point in range. That's cool. So that means that it will ignore crawlers if there is something relatively close by. But the range decrease means that it has less area where it chooses from. So I'm not sure if this is really, really helpful. Maybe you play together with the range upgrade, and then to counteract against it, and then you can really ignore crawler, which is a cool idea. I like the idea behind this. Steel balls could be quite nice with that. But I usually play my steel ball pretty tanky, and then this doesn't really matter for me. So maybe another idea for a cool build. The effect of improved steel ball card is adjusted. Yeah, 30% hit point, 50% hit point, 30% attack, 3% more movement speed. Recruitment cost increased by 50. Not 100, 50. That's quite nice. And the extended range is removed. Oh. Interesting. So you can't combine that. Yeah, that makes sense. But okay, that is interesting. And then we go into the Wasps, which get a new anti-air ability. And they get the anti-air specialization that you already have for Mustangs. Now you can make your Wasps anti-air, which makes them especially strong against other Wasps, but also it means that they outrange enemy. I believe they outrange enemy Overlords of Death by the upgrade on its own already, and then they can be really good against Overlords as well. The 70% extra damage is really cool. And even armor on the Overlord won't protect you there. So, new anti-air specialization here on the Wasps. Cool idea. I'm not sure if this is really a niche that you want to sacrifice one of your slots for on the Wasp, though. But some people might be. So, that will be interesting. I'm looking forward to these Wasps with anti-air specialization. More abilities on units, always cool. Really good idea. I like to see this. This is how the game stays fresh and people can bring their own ideas into it. So, yeah, new builds, I want to see it. Fang here gets a adjustment from 54 or to 55 damage. I guess that's for a specific matchup where they now need one less shot to kill that. So that's cool. I'm not 100% sure which matchup it is. Small buff there to the Fang. Also means that it stacks a bit better, so higher level Fangs deal a bit more damage. Hacker increased attack by 6%. This is big, meaning that hackers really take over a good bit faster now. And I already see a lot of hackers, so hacker buff here will be really interesting. And yeah, the effect of multiple control is adjusted to the range of the hacker. Is reduced by 25 meters, but 5 control beams are fired, and the control efficiency is 17. I believe this is the number that changed. 70% of the original. I'm not 100% sure what it was before, though, because it was 5 beams and 25 before as well. The 17 number, I'm not sure if it was lower or higher before. Might have been 18 before, but yeah, multiple control slightly changed there. And then we come to a big change. Core buildings. Core buildings give less XP. They only give 100 XP, so flanking units don't level up as quickly anymore. Give only as much XP as a crawler. As it was pretty significant that like any kind of flanking unit early on that killed the turret immediately leveled up, making the flank a lot stronger. And the ability of the core building was reduced from 13 to 9 seconds, which in big clumpy fights is good in my eyes because it was just too decisive often. Issue is when you kill it now a turret and then you have to run to the enemy who's like still somewhere else on the map. It will go away before you have arrived there often now, especially with slower units, I think. And then turret destruction doesn't help you there at all, which I'm a bit against. So I wish they would have maybe just lowered the nerf on the units that Paralyze does instead of reducing the duration. That's my point of view here. But interesting change here for sure. HP increase on the cores as well, so it's even harder to kill them. Like single crawlers won't really do it anymore. From 3000 to 3200 to 3400. Good change there as well, my eyes. Making throwing them a good bit harder. And now when 2 core buildings are destroyed in a short time, duration of the paralyzed state will be stacked. So it will be 18 seconds. I'm not quite sure how it worked before, but that is interesting. And then we come to another really big one. Nukes, you can't just buy them anymore. Nukes are cards now. And you can't just get a free nuke, which will make a lot of people in the community happy. I saw a lot of posts about people not liking the nuke as an ability that you just can buy all the time. I'm not sure. I think the nuke was pretty balanced on the 400 points, but I'm okay with it changing because we also got a replacement for it. Sticky oil bombs are now the unit that you can, the thing that you can buy, and that's pretty cool. That is a nice thing that you can use tactical. It only costs 150, so that is pretty cool as well. It has a cooldown of 3, so you might see it earlier with the cooldown being used more often. It can be inflamed, which makes maybe some flame builds stronger. Yeah, Sticky Oil Bomb. I'm not sure if Sticky Oil Bomb was the right ability to choose for this, but it's cool to see it. And we will see. Maybe we can rotate that through in the future, having always different abilities there. Really good idea by the developers to try something out here, I think. And yeah, looking forward how it goes. And then we have a new start specialist, Heavy Armor Specialist, which increases the hit points of all units by 17. That sounds really interesting as well. And sounds like some builds with this will be absolutely insane. And 17% is quite a bit. Yeah. Elite Specialist obtain an extra 50 supply in the first round, able to immediately recruit level 2 units. The extra 50 supply is big, allowing you to allowing you to unlock something and stuff and get quite a bit of units. You still only get you can buy one of your tier 2 and one of your tier 1 units now early on, because you have no, you have 250 at the beginning. No, you can only buy but it, yeah, 50 point extra is nice. So elite specialist buff here still helps. Adjusted cost control specialist hit point and attack reduction from 15 to 13. So cost control is stronger as well, as the reduction of stats is not as big, so the late game suffering of this is not as big anymore. Early games, the one extra hit will really help out now, as your units really will be a good bit better. And then the hit points that you gain extra or lose based on specialists have been changed as well. So Slice Specialist gives you minus 300 now. It was one of the most common, but it's also one of the most basic. I'm not sure if it should be nerfed that hard, because a lot of newer players use this because it's the easiest to understand. And making it so punishing will punish all these new players. And I don't think it was that OP. Would have gone with something lower than minus 300 here. 300 is quite a bit. Air Specialist health bonus goes down by 100, that's fine. Rhino Specialist goes down by 600, and this is too much of an overnerf. You already nerfed the Rhino. You don't need to nerf the Rhino Specialist this hard here. Like, this is completely over the top, in my eyes. Making really the nail in the coffin for Rhinos. And the Rhino Specialist with it. As some people might still take it, but that's because a lot of people don't look at the hit points. Me included, actually. But this is insane. This is 600 less hit points. Cost control, specialist players, bonus adjust from 0 to 200. So this is an extra buff to the cost control, going up by 200 extra. And then starting units, adjusted player health has been adjusted there as well, based on win rates, which is nice. Lightning Storm goes up to 350, so making this ability really expensive as a whole. And air specialists don't show up later anymore, which means that if you take the air specialist early, it is unique to you, and it is really powerful. And it doesn't come up in other games anymore, which is interesting. Adjusted the damage reduction of effect of photon coating from 55 to 50, so another nerf to photon coating. And that, when it's also going up in price for the Overlord, wild. And it goes up in the price for the Rhino, so one more nerf to the Rhino. Rhino's really getting the short end of the stick here, and like heavily. So added elite variant cards for most non-giant units after round 5, allowing them to recruit them on level 3. This is cool. This will help out with some counters and so on. Might make the game a bit swingy sometimes, because if you get the discard for the counter that you need against an enemy unit, and then being able to recruit them on level 3 is really powerful. Might bring a bit more RNG in it, but it's cool cards. It's cool idea. It can enable some nice builds and brings more variation into the play. So, and it's not insane in its RNG factor in my eyes. Like, still the other side can adjust to it. You see it, you can plan for it. So I'm fine with it as well. And then we have some optimizations here in the end, some bug fixes, which are obviously nice to see as well. So really a lot of cool stuff in this balance patch. Rhinos, though, really suffering. I'm looking forward how all of this plays out. Looking forward to see you all on the battlefield, and looking forward to see you in the tournament at the weekend. If you liked this video, you want to see more of these balance patch videos as well, let me know down below, and I hope to see you in the next one.